A policy designed to enhance financial transactions is now facing intense scrutiny. Nigeria's cashless policy was meant to be a game changer, but its unintended consequences are causing widespread hardship. Experts argue that cash shortages are not due to banking inefficiencies, but rather restrictive regulatory policies. The central bank's directives have led to a situation where people now hoard cash instead of depositing it, worsening liquidity issues. Even more troubling, the high transaction fees charged by POS operators who now scramble desperately for fiscal cash are forcing everyday Nigerians into financial distress. Biko, experts say that the tacky process of putting together the cashless policy and also the poor customer relations by banks is now fueling POS agents' exploitations. Do you agree with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think since what happened in December 2022, when President Buhari and others came up with the idea of repainting our currency.
Okay.
People have picked up valuable lessons. They don't want to use the banks anymore. People are keeping their cash in their homes. Because what is the point? If you have money in the bank and your child is ill, but you can't withdraw money to give that child the Medicare that he needs.
It has defeated the process.
Many people lost their lives because of this. Banks, and then banks have, I think because the CBN is trying to control money in circulation, banks are not giving people enough money across the counter. We tell you, no, we cannot give you more than 0,000. It changes. Sometimes they give you as low as 10,000 naira, but your money is there. So people are losing faith in the banking system. There's nothing wrong in the cashless policy, but even the more advanced countries of the world, nobody has totally implemented cashless policy. In the UK, when you want to buy things, they tell those who want to pay cash, they tell them to line up here. Are we going to say UK is not advanced enough? Huh? So, if in the big countries of the world, there are still cashless policy going side by side with, I don't think that it is right to subject Nigerians to scarcity of cash, paucity of cash, the way the CBN and the banks are doing. This is what has made the POS people to gain ascendancy, because you go to a bank, you cannot take more than 20,000, but you can take more than 100,000 from a POS operator. The only thing is that he will charge you. People are prepared for that. They are not prepared to go and waste their time in the banks. And then you go to the ATMs. ATMs, most of the time, they are not dispensing.
Exactly.
The galleries, ATM galleries, have empty tills. You cannot access cash. I've been told that these POS operators use multiple debit cards to harvest the money in the, from the ATM and then go and sell, because they are actually cash centers. And a lot of them make between 50 to 50,000 naira a day, depending on the traffic and volume of transaction. So these guys are the big deal now. Our people have seen them as alternative to the banks, but they are exploiting our people. The vice president was complaining the other day that the exploitation needs to stop. But people really have no choice. People must use them. If you are desperate for cash, you know that it is to the POS operators that you must go, because the banks are not playing that role. The banks are not playing that role. Now, these guys walk up to people, filling stations. They go, they make deal with them, they collect their cash, They go to women who sell ugu and other things.
Exactly.
They do deal with them. They collect their cash and then they sell to you and I. This is pure trade in Nigerian currency.
Which is against the
CBN. That is what is going on. I don't know what we can do at this stage, given that we do not even have enough banking penetration across our country. You go to some states, there are very few banks operating. Especially the states of the Northwest, for example.
Yes, yes.
You can travel for 3 hours without seeing a bank. Do interstate travel, 3 hours without seeing a bank. In Kogi State, I can count on my fingertips how many banks are operating. And in the communities where you can find them. They're about to open Access Bank in my town now. If they successfully do that, it will be one of the very few towns in the entire Okun land where there is a bank.
There's a bank.
So, but we have POS operators and they are making their money. People build houses, they send money to the workers.
Yeah.
Those guys go say to the POS operators, they give them cash, they continue the building. Whereas there's no bank in the place. So people are enjoying their services, but they are exploiting our people.
Exactly. Now, despite the push towards cashless policy, cash remains a very, very crucial part in the Nigerian economy. Should the cashless policy be reviewed at this time?
In fact, it is long overdue.
Long overdue to be reviewed.
Believe me. You see, you want to, when you look at the utterances of the federal government and all its agencies, you see a drive towards cashless economy. But when you look at actions, policies, you see things that will say, okay, are you truly interested in cashless economy? You don't discourage people. You want a cashless economy. You encourage them to migrate. Nigeria is a physical cash-based economy. There's no doubt about that. Here is one of the only big countries in the world where people carrying millions of naira around, doing all their transactions through physical cash. It doesn't help. You can eliminate a lot of crimes, a lot of problems when you migrate towards the cashless economy. You get what I'm saying? But that is where we want to go. But are we really moving in that direction? You see our POS operators, they do deals with yam sellers, they do with pepper sellers, fish sellers, every manner of group, and they collect all the cash. And that's why when you go to POS operators, you see the way they count money and put 1,000, do like this, do like this, do like this. You know, that's our usual market manner of counting, and very dirty, torn naira notes. That's what you get from there. And you see a lot of exploitation. Now, what is the CBN doing? Beyond all the big grammar, they need to penetrate the grassroots. We want to ensure there is financial inclusion. Are we having that? Through this POS, I don't believe we do, because by the time you remove a lot of exploitative tendencies within the POS operations, you will have much more financial inclusion. Then, when you want to achieve financial inclusion, why are you subjecting people on almost every 10,000 or every money? You do multiple charges and say, come on.
Okay, now let's also look at the excesses of these POS operators. I think CBN is supposed to regulate them as well. For every transaction, you have to charge maybe 0.5% or 1%. Now,
but don't forget, the CBN is not making money available to them. There is commercial banks they deal with that.
But the thing is, can we blame the CBN for not checking the excesses of the POS operators?
No, they are moving in that direction. But the truth is, there are more than 3.5 million POS machines deployed, and only about 100,000 are registered. So how do you track? How do you track people that are not even officially registered with you? And it's not as if they deal directly with the CBN. They don't deal directly with the CBN. So it's tough. It's tough, really. And there's a lot of corruption that people are covering up using the POS operator. You see somebody steals money, moves it straight to the POS operator. Or somebody has physical cash, takes it to POS operator, and when the money is transferred, the real person behind that money will not be known. His identity is masked.
Talk about crime, even for ransom payment. We hear of things like
because the POS operator has more or less decided to stand in his place. So how do you then track such a person? So it's a difficult situation that we find ourselves, and you can not over-regulate them.
Okay.
The truth is, the role that they play is like little banks in their own right, especially in the rural areas. All these farmers and other people, small scale.
People in the cities. People in the cities.
Yes, I'm even saying where people don't have options of banks.
Okay.
Like in the rural areas now, where people don't have options of banks, especially in northern Nigeria. Look at Zamfara, for example. How many banks are in the whole of Zamfara?
Yes.
You can count them on your fingertips.
the entire state.
Yes. You the local government where you have banking presence, you can count them on your fingertips. And it's not Zamfara, even Kano State. There are not many banks in operation. There are some local government where you won't find banks. So these guys play that role. Nigerians are happy to use them. They know they are being exploited. But where you over-regulate, in the urban centers, we will use them. If you tell me that I cannot take cash above
10,000, 20,000.
yes, so I want to cut my hair, maybe it's just 2,000 naira. You expect me to still use POS. It's not in all cases that you transfer business electronically. There are times when you have to use physical cash. So these are the effects, but they've helped us a lot to breach that gap. I wonder where we'll be if these guys were not there.
How about bank
Do you know,
staffs?
I checked the figures of,
Yes.
you know, POS across Nigeria. They are higher in number than
the number of
ATM
banks.
terminals
Exactly.
in
BKO talked
Nigeria.
about it. He said, like,
I was shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, okay, why can't we bring them together through a policy that regulates their activities? What is the role of the CBN? Through the commercial banks, you can intervene.
Now the thing,
No, they are even telling them, come and register, come and register.
You know,
they've
look
been
at
on
the
it for almost 2 years.
The fintechs lead in this direction. Through you can do it because the fintechs get registered. Got registered through the CBN.
okay, but another issue is there are some bank staffs who also, you go to parties, you see new Naira notes. Some bank staffs actually work with these people and they cause this issue of scarcity. Should there be stiffer penalties for banks and also their staffs?
Of course, it's against the law to sell
Yeah, section 21.
new notes to people. But the big people in our country always find a way to get those new notes because they need it at their parties. They need it. Nobody, bank staff will not give it to you. Most times they don't put new notes in ATM.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
But people want to do Owambe. Somehow
have
they
it.
get it. They sell it to people
and
and they
the-
make money.
And the funny thing is that, you know, our people are very, very creative. They move from spraying on the floor. They just carry like 1 million pack like this. Hey, Jide is dancing.
No, I think
and
the
I mean,
CBN
I'll give
needs to
you
do
this
more.
or that.
Or they put it in a carton. Maybe you said they should not do
Exactly.
the
Just
way
pack.
Cubana chief priest used to throw it. Now they put it in the bag, in the carton. That way they have not. Nobody can ban spraying of money in Nigeria. They'll find a way.
like a culture.
You see, now I saw where somebody just did like this.
Yeah, I put like
And you're
several
just taking
millions
it.
of
So they were
naira in
putting
your
it
bag.
there. So he moved it from that place, put it in the box. So he has not. You have said that they must not trample on it. Then they must not stick it to people's
Exactly.
heads. No, they are not going to stick it to your head. They are putting it.
But they
in
find
your
a way
hand.
to just-
Yes,
Yeah,
in a clean
bail by
manner.
bail, you know.
Okay.